Please, in English, give a very warm welcome to Mariana Bozesan. Good luck.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you so very much. It's a great honor and a privilege for me to be here today, especially after what an amazing speech. Thank you so much. I'm totally depressed. I don't know about you. But as we're searching for new balance in investing, I would like to invite you on a journey 500 years ago and take a look at, now I hope this is at a painting by Quentin Massés, and probably all of you know how to pronounce his name better than I do. He painted this painting pretty much 500 years ago, at 520. He was a painter, a Flemish painter, I'm sure you know him, who lived in Antwerp. And this painting is called The Moneylender. And what do you see here? Because this is a representation of why we need to transform the investment system. What do you see here? What is wrong? What was wrong back then with the moneylender system? Because that was the system that was at work then. What do you see here? What I see here, this is a grotesque representation of ugliness, isn't it? Of the masculine energy at work. Masculine. I'm not saying male energy, please. I'm saying masculine. We all have that. It's an ugly representation. So take a look at this guy. He almost has no teeth, but he's still haggling with this other guy who's holding on to these guilders, full of guilders. He's trying to convince him of a better deal, and he says, no, I want more of this. He doesn't know what he's going to do with it, but he wants more of it. And then you see all these guys looking, oh my God, how am I going to get to it? You see the ledgers. The whole thing is full of ledgers of the money that he had lent over time. So he's trying to convince them, to get a better deal. And back then you see a fence, a high fence, trying to protect those money, this wealth. This is how people were hiding behind themselves. What about this painting? This is called The Moneylender and His Wife. And it's also a Massés painting. What do you see in here? What I see in here is the masculine and the feminine energy leading toward each other. You see the woman wearing red, holding the Bible. If you take a look at the picture closer, then you see here's the Madonna with the child. He's wearing the same color. He is, yes, counting money. We all need some way of exchange. But he's not only having money, he also has some pearls there. Pearls, the symbol for purification, for purity, for generosity, for integrity. He doesn't only have money, he also has the rings, representation of a relationship, and art and beauty. And of course the glass. On the shelves, what do you see there? You see a candle that is a representation for what? Memento mori. We're all going to die. Then you see also the apple, the original sin, and the hope that this is all integrated. In the front, you see a mirror. What does that tell us? Look in the mirror. Whatever you do, integrate the true, the good, and the beautiful in whatever you do. This was the hope of Massés back then. And this is the hope that we have right now in search for a new balance. It's been valid back then, 500 years ago, where people looked at money only and for profit only. Nothing else counted. And it is valid today, the integration between the feminine, the true, the good, and the beautiful. The ability to look into the mirror and see yourself and be happy with what you've done. Yes, we all live in this world and we have all co-created, and none of us is really truly responsible for all these terrible things. But this is what we stand for, and this is what we're trying to do through the investment Wende, that we called, actually a long time ago, I sent 7 years ago a paper to Chancellor Merkel asking for an investment turnaround and enumerating all the things that I thought should be attacked and addressed, and I didn't get an answer. And 2 years ago, we decided with the Club of Rome to call the investment turnaround and, really start a movement. And Walter was kind enough to also join us and support us. He supported us from the very beginning 9 years ago. So what we're doing with this is we're trying to bust the myths. The myths that you saw represented in this painting, oh my God, we need to huggle, there is not sustainability, that it costs money, you can't do it. You have to pay in order to get integral sustainability, as we call it, integration of people, planet, and profit. And it's not true. My beautiful, wonderful, the best man in the world and husband and I who's sitting in the room, my better half, and I have proven over the past almost 30 years that you can actually make more money if you invest with the criteria that we simply enumerated as the true, the good, and the beautiful. You can actually make more money. Why? Because you reduce the cost. And you are happy about what you're doing. And if you lose, you know that you've lost for a good cause. The second myth that we're trying to address is that there is not enough investments to go around. This is another myth. It's not true. Every single investment is an integral sustainable investment if you are willing to invest with the criteria and measure them and show them. If you open your heart to really do what you do in the sense of Massey's, the true, the good, and the beautiful. And number 3, investors only want short term. This is, of course, BS. That's not true. If you really talk to money owners, not money managers, they don't. Yes, they want to make sure that they will have some food for the family tomorrow, but they're not greedy. Most of them aren't. And this is why you find this movement that we have joined and that you find in Tonic and Jen. Who knows Jen, the Global Impact Investor? Of course you do. And Tonic, how many of you know Tonic? Of course you do. We're members of Tonic. We have proven the opposite, that all of these myths are not true. So, how do we do it? In our own, we are computer scientists and electrical engineers. We are technological people. We are AI people. I studied artificial intelligence at the time, where in Germany most people didn't even know what informatic was. It was like journalism or something. So this is what we do. This is what we care. Like you do, you also invest your time, because you are also an investor. Everyone is an investor in stuff that you do that you care about. So we do invest in technology. And if you think that 30% of all climate, the heat, the CO2 emission worldwide comes from construction, then we're looking for ways to reduce that. And what is growing like mushrooms these days? Data centers. I'm sure you all have smartphones. Of course we are. We live in this beautiful 21st century world. So they're mushrooming. Now, if we built data centers in the old way, how are we going to look into our children and their children in the eye? Because we're building stranded assets that they will have to deal with, just like with the plastic that we just heard. So we looked at technology that would reduce that, and we found something amazing, patented technology that actually reduces the construction cost by 50%. So less CO2 emissions, and also the maintenance costs. So we built data centers, and of course, other people are joining us. Of course, the interest is really big. Another thing that we do is we care about the people, and we also measure the UN SDGs. These are the criteria how we measure our investments. In this case, we care for good health. How can we bring good health and reduce inequality by making healthcare available in disaster areas? So this is a surgery tent that can be dropped from the air in every disaster area, and people can have surgery where they are at. So that reduces, of course, inequality and supports peace and justice. And because we talk about peace and justice, one of the most important things that I would like to call on to you is to do what you do and enjoy it. Have fun with it. I don't know about you, but after this presentation, I was really depressed. I mean, I started crying. I couldn't do a thing. So for us, it's extremely important that we have fun and we enjoy what we do, because otherwise we disempower ourselves. Yes, shit happens. We are surrounded by shit, and more shit is coming every day. We just saw it. But how can I empower myself to really do the right thing? And for us, we invest, for instance, in movies. Family movies, a movie based on Michael Ende's book, Jim Knopf and Lukas der Lokomotivführer. That is a movie with a message. It addresses, actually, I looked at it, it addresses UN SDG number 16, and it promotes peace and justice and intercultural communication and development and interracial understanding. If you haven't seen it, go and take a look at it. Why? Because it's getting worse. If you think that what we saw with plastic was it and it's terrible, tomorrow's speed of change will make today look like we're crawling. Peter Diamandis, who knows Peter Diamandis, the founder of Singularity University? Yay, technology is coming, and it's coming big time. If you have not understood exponential growth in the past, in math and science, you better get onto it now, because now we're facing the exponential growth of the exponential growth. Yay, talking about technology. What does that mean? Digitalization. We discovered, my husband and I discovered Mosaic. What was Mosaic? It was the first internet browser in Silicon Valley in the mid-90s. And we had known the internet all along, and we knew a new era was starting. And we came over to Europe to help people get onto the internet, only to find out that they didn't have a clue what the internet was. But now, after going into the deception phase, and someone is struggling with his iPhone, the iPhone, the smartphone, was actually dawning the era of disruption. That was the moment, 2006, when we all saw that technology is now taking off. We went away from the linear movement into the exponential. Now it's being seen. And of course, what do you have in a smartphone? Stuff that has been dematerialized. I won't go into it, but you have all these phones, the phone itself, and of course the dictation and GPS and video and this and that and the other. And all the technology, you have more technology in your pocket than the United States president back when they flew to the moon. And of course, the dematerialization leads to demonetization. So only the first time when you build it, it's expensive. But then you multiply it, make it available to everyone, which of course leads to the sixth, the democratization. And that, of course, led to 2017 to the fact that 4.8 billion people had actually access to communication. And this mobile communication, and of course to abundance. And this, of course, all the technology is not going to stop. It's only driven, we just had a conversation in the car on the way here, it's only driven by maybe 100 million people, but they dominate our life. And we better get onto it, because if you can't beat them, because they produce all kinds of garbage and stuff and so on as well, then you better join them. Why? Because it's coming. Our lives will change like never before, and we better influence them so that whatever they do it in an integrally sustainable way. Let's influence that. Let's take control. Let's not have AI and robots and whatever else is coming take over our lives. And let's help them integrate the true, the good, and the beautiful, the moral values, ethics, and morals. I'll talk a little bit more about this later on, because the truth about technology and the reason why so people are adopting it is because it's helped increase and make our lives better. I won't go into the details. You can find them on the presentation. Our world in data. Global income increased 10 times. Somebody seems to want to have it. Global average life expectancy more than doubled since 1900. Literacy increased from 12% 200 years ago to 87% in 2014. Energy costs sank 30 times. Food costs decreased 13 times. Transport costs decreased 100 times. And of course, communication cost 100,000 times. let alone knowledge. Knowledge is now available everywhere. I don't know about you, but I just love my access to Google, to the internet, to have all the stuff in my pocket. I don't need to print the thing. I can have it here, so here you go. Another thing that I think it's extremely important that we need to take care of is, yes, we are explorers, and the Dutch are leading, have always led the world in conquering it and exploring the world and opening up the world and becoming citizens of the world. You may be bored by it, but I love you guys. I admire you. I mean, what a tolerant population. We all know what it means to embrace humanity, to embrace the planet. And yes, this is going to continue. Yes, we are damaging our planet, and we will become interplanetary species. You may not be on it. I don't want to fly. I love the planet. I don't want to go on this. But who knows? My children, my son, his children may. So yes, we are, come on, let's work on this. So we better deal with it. Why? Because, as I said before, the law of acceleration is of accelerated return. The acceleration of the acceleration is coming and is applying. What does that mean, actually? It means that evolution that has given us a couple of thousand years ago, the prefrontal cortex has come biologically to an end. Biologically, we cannot increase this. But what's happening, technology is helping us gather all the collective intelligence into these machines. And that's how we're going to accelerate. And this is actually what's leading through the internet, what's leading artificial intelligence and robotics. And it's changing the world from biohumanism, where we insert certain things. How many people, I know you have a hip, right? I find this amazing. I think it's amazing to have the opportunity to replace. Well, I'm proud of you, come on. And so biohumanism, this is biohumanism, then neurohumanism, and then I don't want to think about this because it sounds scary, but it is coming. And we better get onto it. I see so many amazing young people here in the room. This is your future. Take control over it. I'm already 60. I don't know how long I'm going to live. But you, this is your life. You need to take charge. I don't know if you want to eat meat produced by Amazon and by Google. It is coming. I don't know what problems, we do know what kind of problems are going to be solved through that. But it is coming. I've eaten artificial meat. It tasted horrible, but it doesn't matter. You know, before you starve. And of course, autonomous systems are coming, transportation, car as a service this year, and in 2025, the car ownership will come to an end. So I'll share you some technology that I'm proud of that comes from Germany, the vertical jet that will be landing like a taxi on top of cars. It's already here now. And then Hyperloop, a German company that is finally, hopefully, soon going to replace the Deutsche Bahn. You know, to be faster, 6 times faster and 10 times cheaper. So there are so many things. I also love my Roomba. Who has a Roomba at home? A Roomba is a robot that cleans my apartment when I'm gone. I love it. And of course, just like my iPhone, I love it. I mean, what? It can come home and everything is nice and clean. So this is coming, together with communication acceleration. And this is even more important. By 2025, the internet will bring online 5 new billion users. And with that, 5 new billion minds. Our competition. I'm happy if I have my phone to remind myself. But you will get amazing competition. You will get amazing genius competing with your ideas. And the question is, what kind of genius are we creating using artificial intelligence? Yes? We're almost there? So how is that being fueled? By massive amounts of capital, and we are almost there. You can have the presentations. Why? Because this is important. This is where I'm calling to all of you to get onto it and influence these people. The globalization, the democratization of capital is already here. Crowdfunding is changing everything. There is a lot of money flowing in these fields, just like there is a lot of money from investing, European investing, Asian. The Asians are coming. There is so much money around. So if you think that you don't have enough money to serve your projects, you're doing something wrong. There is plenty of capital that can and should go toward integral sustainability. So I listened to my boss here. So everybody's an investor. This is my conviction, because there is no way not to invest. And investing is no longer global, because these are the three top threats that we need to address at the global level. Climate change, as we will talk about all this at this Congress, exponential tech, and of course biological tech. These two are the important ones. And of course, nuclear threats. And we all need to go onto it, because if we don't do it, who will? And if it's not now, when then? I believe that we can lead into an abundance for all humanity. And we do have a choice. We can live in fear, which is not my choice, or we can live in love. And I choose love. And this is the reason why I chose our moonshot to be the investment turnaround. Because we can do it, and we will do it. What is your moonshot? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mariana. Please advise me, after my Lehman losses, I invested in the biodegradable golf ball, and I don't even play golf myself. And then we actually produced it from the Lamb & Weston water with all the materials inside. And then we had the prototypes, and then they actually got rid of it. And now it's all gone. So I'm the worst investor in the world. Help me.
Well, keep investing. That's all I can say.
Wow, it's that simple.
Because you learn from past mistakes, and there is no guarantee. But see, if you risk, you may lose. If you don't risk, you have already lost.
You're so wise. Mariana Bozesan, thank you very much. Wow.